Hey, Nathan here, helping you become a better jungler. This is my Season 10 Olaf guide. It's going to be very in-depth, very practical. The purpose of this guide is to make sure that by the end of it, you have a clear understanding of how to play Olaf most effectively in your own ranked games to climb the solo queue ladder. That's what we're here to do at the end of the day. Table of contents. We're going to be starting off with the champion identity of Olaf. This is the mindset you need to be in as you play the champion. This is his core strength. We'll be then moving into his first jungle clear. This is going to be tied to the champion identity, but this is very important. As you notice, I have bolded and marked it in the slide. If you get this wrong, the whole guide is essentially useless. So very important to go over that slide. We'll be then moving into early game examples. So this is past the first clear. What do we do next? We'll be going over good and bad examples. Moving into general League of Legends guide stuff, runes, skill order, item builds, champion select. This is going to be champions he's very good to be picking with, and champions you sort of want to be avoiding or you're going to struggle against. And this is also very helpful for thinking about who you're going to gank, looking at also win condition in terms of your games. How to fight in terms of the mid-late game. This is how you want to be playing Olaf in terms of skirmishing. Then moving into a full game example, how to close games out. So this is going to end the guide very nicely. Okay, great. We've had a good early game. What do we do next? How do we close it out using his item builds, the champion select slides, and how to fight with him in terms of the mid and late games. Then finishing off with Q&A, questions and answers from my audience. Just answering some common questions that people have around Olaf. And there will be bonus resources to this guide. It doesn't stop here. I will be doing 4 extra live gameplay commentary videos to complement everything in this guide. And there's also a Olaf discussion channel over on my Discord server. You can join that with the link there, nathanmott.gg/discord. What is Olaf's identity as a champion? Now, this is something we're going to continually be going back through this guide. And you're going to notice everything in this guide is put back to this one sentence, and I feel like this one sentence was able to really encapsulate his strength as a champion, and that was he's an assassin who consistently gets a large gold lead in the early game to take any objective. Now you're probably thinking already, okay, Nathan thinks Olaf is an assassin. I'm clicking off this guide. Bear with me. It's going to make a lot more sense as we work through this guide. Consistently getting a large gold lead in the early game. We're going to be looking at that in the next slide when we talk about his first jungle clear. And when I say any objective, I'm talking about Rift Heralds, Scuttle Crabs, counter jungling, dragons, obviously. So these are some indications I've got down here as well when I wasn't playing to Olaf's strengths. This is what I found. If I made any of these mistakes, I'm like, okay, I have not so much completely thrown the game, but I haven't played to his strengths. I didn't have a clean early game as I could have. So these were, you die and all your jungle camps are alive. This is any stage of the game. You die in the first 5 minutes of the game. You aren't considerably always ahead of the enemy jungler in farm. You don't get the first dragon. This is highlighted because this is going to depend a little bit on, I mean, the way the game goes. Maybe you will have to give up first dragon if your bot lane's, you know, hard losing, or just the way your pathing ends up, some fight breaks out. But in general, you do want to be getting the first dragon. If the enemy jungler starts red buff, you don't double scuttle. This will make a lot more sense when we talk about the early pathing. And you get into a point where you're building your 5th item. I don't think Olaf is as bad as people say in terms of his late game strength. I think late game he does struggle, but I felt like if I was ended up buying the 5th item, I'll be looking at my mistakes way back. There's something I did wrong. I didn't play to his strengths, and remember his strengths is he is very, very strong in terms of the early to mid games. We want to be playing to those strengths, making sure we're closing out games. We will be talking about how to close out games later in the guide here. So again, I think all these points here, as you're playing Olaf and you're improving, if you're making any of these mistakes, go back and review how did these things happen and try to avoid them next time. Okay, moving into the first jungle clear for him, and this is the part of his identity, how to consistently get leads in the early game. And this path, which I'll show you an example of in a moment, gave me a very clear and consistent direction in the early game. Now, you might say here, machete, green tick, talisman, red cross. So I actually have talked about talisman being good on Olaf in the past, but once I started making this guide, I realized completely wrong. You might have heard in the Olaf community, oh, you got to start machete if you start blue, start talisman if you start red. Yes, that's okay, that sort of makes sense, but The problem with all that is you have to start Machete, you have to start blue buff every single game with Olaf. It's so important for him, going back to his identity, his strength, trying to get an early farm lead. What you want to be doing is, as you're clearing, is utilizing his passive here, getting as low HP as possible. Again, this starting blue just enables this. It's also the way you path starting blue. It's much cleaner than doing, say, red Raptors, Krugs, or red Krugs, Raptors. This path is super fast, super efficient, and it's unmatched by any jungler in the game. As you can see here, the objective of this path is really to have fully cleared your jungle at level 4. So you're level 4, and you have full health before the first Rift Scuttler comes up. So first Rift Scuttler comes up at 3 minutes 15. The example I'm going to be showing of how to do this clear is going to be at 3 minutes 8 seconds finish Krugs, moving on Scuttle. We're also going to be going over an example that is incorrect, showing if you do these little things wrong, you're going to have, add an extra, as you can see here, 14 seconds to it, which really affects the whole flow of your game, which we'll go over. And I want to also emphasize before we go into it, it's going to take practice. You're not going to watch this for the first time. You're like, oh, I can clear Krugs by 3 minutes 8 seconds to be level 4. Going to take practice. Watch this a couple of times. Practice yourself in custom games, in your own ranked games. So let's jump into the first example I'm going to show is the correct way to clear. And then we're going to move into the incorrect way to clear and the consequences of that. In this example, I'm going to be showing you the full clear, the sequence of camps, and how to utilize Olaf's passive most effectively in the jungle to get that pre-scuttle spawn clear, that 3 minutes 8 seconds, incredibly fast. No jungler can match it. So also note here, I don't start with full HP. This is because there was actually a little bit of an invader skirmish, so I lost some health, but so that's actually a good thing for Olaf. So probably cut like an extra second or so from that, but again, we're still going to definitely be able to do it before the first scuttle spawn. So this is what you want to do. So basically your idea here is you're going to get the blue buff to around 500 HP, just a little less, and then you're going to throw an axe. Make sure you hold a Q to throw to leash the Gromp, and then you're going to be getting hit by both the Gromp and the blue. You're going to finish off the blue, and then you're going to start powering through with W to kill this Gromp. So let's take a look at this here. So 500 health here. Notice the axe. Finish this. So low health. One more hit was going to die. So again, this is going to take a little bit of practice. There might be some deaths, but this is max efficiency. So then we would W. Also, the thing is, don't throw Qs when you've got your W going when you're low health. It actually slows you down. So once the W is gone, then start throwing Qs. So we're going to throw Qs down, AoE down here. Use our W, hit. Level 3, this is where 2 points in Q, as you can see here. And this is going to allow us to clear Raptor camp incredibly quickly. Now, important for Raptors here, you don't want to use W on Raptors. Only Q, because you need to get as low HP as possible from these guys. So we're hitting the big one, clearing that super quick. Now onto red. Get some axes in there. Again, remember, don't throw axes when you got your W. Once the W passive's gone, then start throwing those axes. Now onto Krug. So this is the key point in terms of getting HP. So don't smite the big one here. If you still want to be utilizing the low HP here, use W. You want to smite one of these bigger ones, and this is when you start chilling your health pots. And as we can see here, full HP. Going straight to Rift Scuttler. Make sure you walk out here to get one nice Q. And there we go, 3 minutes 10 seconds. We're walking onto Scuttle now. This is how you do the first clear. So you might have to look at this a couple of times, but again, it's going to take practice, but this is the idea around it. You'll get better at this as you practice. And again, it all comes down to that first bit here. This is the most important bit. When you're doing that first clear, making sure you're trying to get as low HP as possible, because this is going to make you power through the Gromp. Remember, don't throw Qs when your W is active, because that's just going to slow down because your attack speed is so fast, throwing Qs actually minimizes your damage. So I hope this was helpful. Now we're going to jump into an example of just tiny things that if you do wrong, then it's going to add insane time to your first clear. So let's take a look at that now. So let's see how this Olaf adds unnecessary time to his jungle clear by not utilizing his passive correctly, not killing the camps correctly. So he does the same sequence and all, but we're just doing them a little inefficiently. So this is all good. He started in blue without a leash. That's what I really do prefer. Enemy team doesn't know exactly where you started, and also I feel like I can just get low health way easier. So the first mistake here, as you see, he leashed the Gromp when it's basically at 200 health. So he's not going to get as low HP as possible here. And next problem here is he doesn't just W straight away. He goes to pick up axes and he starts throwing axes as his W is going. So when W is channeled, your passive there, never use Qs. It's going to slow down your clear. Only use Qs after your passive's gone. So onto Wolf Camp now. So this is better. He's not using Qs while his W is activated. Now throwing Qs. Okay, the problem here is that he should have, after he killed the big wolf, or as he's walking, you walk this direction, throw Qs. Walk this direction, finish them off. Because this is going to add, by him auto-attacking these camps here, he's added like an extra 3 seconds to his clear. So always be, after you've cleared, they're close, finishing off the Qs, start walking to your next camp. So on Raptors here, so this is an example where he did kill a ward here. So let's give or take, I mean, you have to add sort of about 3 seconds there to kill that ward. But he still does this Raptor camp incorrectly, where he's auto-attacking. He missed a couple of the minions with a couple of Qs, so now he's had to auto-attack them. Stood still a little bit there, and again, the thing is he didn't kite the camp as he was throwing in finished Qs. But the good thing there is he didn't use W on Raptor camp, which is important. So he's actually starting this red buff with really good HP. Alright, after W's expired, remember, start kiting it to your next camp, to Krugs. So we've taken a little bit of time to walk to our camps. So right now, Olaf is starting his Krugs, really, and the other Olaf had like the perfect clear. He's finished his Krugs by now. So let's actually take a look now. We can see some instant consequences to this path here. So he did do the good thing, smiting the big, one of the, not the big Krug, but one of the small ones from the big Krug. And now, so as we can see here, we're moving at 3 minutes 28 seconds here. We should have been on Scuttle by now, and because of this, the Mundo actually ganks and kills his bot lane, and he could have been all here to prevent this. So now his bot dies. Now he can't contest this bot Rift Scuttler here, so he's not going to double Scuttle a Mundo, and Olaf does fantastic onto Mundo early. This shouldn't happen. So now he's forced to base to go topside here. And again, this is just showing how it completely ruined the strength. Again, but going back to his champion identity, this early clear is so important. It just can completely ruin it by just simply not clearing your camps correctly. So now we're getting top scuttle. He does get top scuttle, but then makes a crucial jungle fundamental mistake here. Mid was not gankable here. Olaf is not good at ganking champs, especially mid lane when they're at this position right here. Like really, max he can do here is Q and like an E, maybe an auto attack, but he's just going to flash away. And the worst thing about this now is he showed on the map. He hasn't done anything, so he hits the Q, but he can't do anything. And now obviously takes Raptors, because he's shown the enemy team, okay, I'm going to go take Raptors now. And then Mundo comes in here, and essentially he uses his flash here defensively, which I'll talk about why you don't want to be using your flash defensively on Olaf. And now he's forced to give the kill to Mundo because Kassan's going to collapse on him. So, great example here of the consequences of messing up that clear. It's now he's literally, this Mundo's 2-0. Olaf is 0-1. He's about the same farm as a jungler. That's not again going to his strength. You need to have considerable amount of farm compared to the enemy jungler. And this is again, he didn't get double scuttle, and he's versus Mundo. It shouldn't happen. So I hope this was really helpful for you to show you the consequence of not doing this clear and how all these tiny details is going to add seconds to your clear. So let's now move on to the next portion of the guide. Okay, so we've perfected the first early clear with Olaf. What's next? What do we do when we move to that Scuttle Crab at 3 minutes 10 seconds? So I have 6 examples I want to show you here. And you might be thinking, okay, 6 examples is a lot, Nathan. You could have given me 1 or 2. But this is going to be a very important, this is the meat and potatoes of the guide. Again, going back to the strengths of Olaf in terms of getting that consistent gold advantage, this is how we're going to do it. As you can see here, we have a big stack of cash here. We're going to be just power farming, just getting insane gold, but also impacting the map and getting objectives. Again, going back to his champion identity. So we have 4 good examples here of great early games, different situations. Again, we want to go through a lot of different situations because solo queue is very dynamic. There's lots of things that can happen in terms of early games. You don't have control of your teammates. It's very chaotic. And also 2 games where you don't play to Olaf's strengths and you make the bad early game decision. So these are going to be great mistakes for you to learn on, so you can not make these mistakes in your games. Or if you do, you'll be like, oh, okay, Nathan talked about that. That makes sense. That's not me playing to Olaf's strengths. That's why I lost the game. So the first one we're going to take a look at is what is the best case early game you can have. And you can definitely have this game pretty often, not so much often, but it can happen. And as soon as you have this, you should win the game. So let's take a look at example 1 here, and let's just systematically work through these. There will be timestamps if you want to skip through some of these, but I do recommend you watching all of these anyway. So let's go over example number 1 now. Okay, so in this example, we're going to be taking a look at what best case scenario after you do your first jungle clear looks like. So, done the clear. We do have priority bot here. We see a fight coming up here. Olaf here comes to protect the Echo, but Echo unfortunately does die, and we have, and this is again the strength, you're level 4. No other jungler is going to be level 4 at this stage. To get on this scuttle, no one can 1v1 you. Lee Sin just gets slaughtered there. We've got our first kill. So this is great. We got our kill. We're still pretty healthy. And now we're going to be walking to double scuttle him. And the thing here is that junglers, especially Lee Sin, they hate this. So they're all going to collapse on him right here. They're not going to let him double scuttle. He's worked through lane. Again, we're level 4 here. This is Olaf at his strength. In the river. So Echo does come up here as well. We get the Fizz's E and his flash. We flash on him, get the kill, get the healing, get the W going. Double kill here. Okay, and triple kill. We're 4-0, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. They tried to contest double scuttle. We're going to get double scuttle. So, how are we going to extend this lead over the next 5 minutes or so? Let's take a look. So, double crab. We're going to do Gromp. We're going to do Wolves. We're going to base. So look how close we are to level 6 right now. We're almost level 6 at 5 minutes in the game. We're going to be 2 levels ahead of this Lee Sin already. We're 4 kills. We have a lot of gold. The reason you base here, you don't want to keep full clearing, and this is what I really like to do on blue side, is once we've done the full clear, we look for a double scuttle, and then we do Gromp and Wolves, which is what's done here, and then we reset for drag, because we want to get a very early drag. No one can contest us on drag. Remember, this is your early strength. We've got our early gold lead, and we're just going to take whatever objective we want. So we base here, literally buy an outright warrior, a control ward, another longsword. We're literally unstoppable here. We could have run straight to dragon, but let's get level 6 first. The mindset with Olaf is always be clearing your camps and then looking to impact the map. And that's your strength as Olaf, is you can full clear your jungle. You can clear your jungle and still impact the map because they're just your speed. Especially with these items, just be clearing. So we take these raptors here. Now moving straight onto mid. Fizz is coming down to kill his control. And this is great having a control ward here as well. Lee Sin comes to try and help him, but we do get the kill there. And Q auto. 5-0-1. So we got another kills mid. Now we're going to go take dragon. Okay, so what else can we do? We're still 2 levels ahead of Lee Sin right now. He's died 3 times. What are we going to do? Let's go take his blue buff that's spawning on the second spawn here. And again, there's nothing the enemy team can do about this. You're a level 6 Olaf with ult. With a warrior, 2 levels ahead. No one in the enemy team's level 6 yet. Not even Fizz. You're just, this is like, again, your speed. Like, we're going to be level 7 off this blue buff. So we ult here. And we're just going to clean these guys up. We have ults. We're not going to get hit by that blast cone. Q. Echo finishes him off. And we've got a 4,000 gold lead at 7 minutes. We're level 7. We're 3 levels ahead of Lee Sin. Great early game. So this is, again, best case scenario. Let's look at some more realistic. I mean, this is realistic, but this is not going to happen every game. So let's look at some games where we potentially lose the first scuttle, like a fight breaks out. Let's take a look at some other variations for us. Let's jump into the second example. In the next early game example, we don't have an amazing early start in terms of getting 4 kills and basing on your warrior, but we still managed to get 3 levels ahead and have first tower by 13 minutes. So let's take a look at how that happens in this early game here. So again, we've done our clear. Moving on to Scuttle Crab here. So I do have priority top, which is very important walking down here. And we see Lee Sin here. So this is going to get a bit messy. But remember, we're level 4 here. So we're not afraid of Lee Sin coming in here. We're more afraid of the laners. So we need to really play this a little bit slow. So we're chilling. Lee Sin's hanging around probably, but Lee Sin probably at this stage is thinking, okay, I'm just going to give the scuttle, but no, he actually wants to take it, so I save my Q straight for him. I try and pick up my Q here, probably didn't need to do that, and I actually missed that Q, so that's actually pretty mechanically played poorly. Lee Sin flashes, but now I'm Olaf, and I'm going on this Lee Sin. But he actually doubles it away, so I'm just going to be going straight on this Yas, and the damage from Olaf is just insane at level 4, 2 points Q. Alright, so I hit the minions. I'm just trying to actually push this wave in here, but they decide to go in on Fizz. So we get 2 kills here, but obviously I only get 1 kill. So I'm not going to again be basing on Warrior, but this is good for me. I come to help my team here, but Silas just backs away. Okay, so I actually did lose that first scuttle, which is, again, this is not the perfect 2 scuttle game, 4 kills. But we're going to get 1 scuttle. So let's take a look again at how we extend our lead here. So we're 25 CS to 20 CS to Lee Sin right now. So I do the scuttle. I come here and I do Gromp, do Wolves, and this is what I like to do on red side here. So you literally full clear twice before basing. So remember I still haven't based. So literally all I've done here is I've done this whole path here. I've now walked into here. They took crab, a fort broke out, and then I took that crab, full clear again, and then I'm gonna base for dragon. And this works really well. So look at this, I'm level 6 right now again, by 5 minutes 40 seconds. Lee Sin's still, I think he just hit level 4. So I'm almost halfway to 7 as well here. So I didn't even get 2 crabs. 2 scuttle crabs. So come here, base. I have 2100 gold, so I mean this is a lot of gold. I can't outright buy a warrior, but I'm very strong right now. Gonna run straight to dragon, so get some items here, get some boots. Sweep this. Get some control wards. So what I'm doing here, I'm setting up dragon. I'm making sure I can take this freely. I'm getting some deep control wards in here. But a fight breaks out bot here. Now going down on this Lee Sin. And I just ult for just to secure the kill there. That's the other thing with Olaf as well. Don't be stingy with your ult. Just ult just so you're not getting CC'd here. Making sure that we are getting these kills. No shenanigans is happening here. Unfortunately, Misfortune does die there. But we get some plates. And I run straight to this Scuttle Crab. And you see how I decide not to do Dragon here? So there's no need to. And this is the risks you don't want to take as Olaf. Is like, it could be very obvious that enemy team just died there. I could very obviously be coming to do Dragon here, but it's just not safe. My bot lane's base, I don't have priority mid. Lee Sin died a while ago. I did spend some extra time bot, so he could be back up here. So what am I going to do again? I'm going to get this Scuttle Crab, I'm going to full clear again, and then basing it bot. And this is again how you get massive, massive gold experience lead advantages. So come blue, I see Lee Sin there, and see he's just wasting time. He thinks I'm doing Dragon, and I'm just like, you're not going to do Dragon. I'm not worried about you doing Dragon. You don't know where I am. I'm just going to full clear, be level 8. I think he's still level 5 at this stage. So Silas is actually roaming down here. I do still see Lee Sin down here. So just pinging that for my team. Map awareness. Tell my Fizz there's 3 mid here, so he just doesn't die. Full clear. I mean, the speed. I've 70. I'm going to have 80 CS by the end of this. It's 8 minutes in the game, almost at the clock. I'm farming more than my laners, and this is just again speed of this clear, and it all stems back from that first clear. So recall now I'm going to Dragon, and look at this huge gold experience lead here. Unfortunately, Lee Sin does end up taking Dragon there. So again, this is sort of showing that this is not a perfect early game, but this is I mean, it is perfect in the fact that I'm incredibly far ahead, and this is Olaf's identity. Sure, I lost that first dragon, but there's no point for me going for it anyway. Just full clear again. I'm so far ahead of Lee Sin here that it's not going to matter. That dragon's not going to matter at all. So I actually come straight bot here because I'm going bot again because my camps are going to be spawning again, right? Like Gromp Wolves are going to be coming up again. I want to potentially full clear up top again. But what's the next objective? The next objective is Herald. So I actually come down here, just in case Yas tries to face check this bush, and he does. And I just pop him. I'll just take a look at this. So I'm just sweeping, make sure nothing's going on. He sweeps. I'm just on him now. I just ult. Get some auto attacks down. I actually missed that Q. And I actually flashed for him there. So I probably play that mechanically pretty poorly. And the thing with the Q, and I just say that because you got Q, sometimes holding your Q, waiting for people to flash is very ideal. Sometimes just don't be throwing it unless you know it's guaranteed. So Yas is dead. We have top priority here. I'm coming in here to place a control because what I'm doing here is I'm setting up for Rift Gel, but I find a Lee Sin, a wild Lee Sin in here. But look at me, I'm 3 levels ahead. Look at 1 Q. Force his ult. Okay, great Lee Sin. I'm going to go take Rift here. So I take Rift. So what I'm thinking right now is I want to break bot lane with Rift Herald. So bot lane is very easy for me to kill right now. It's a Soraka Kai'Sa. I can just destroy Kai'Sa. So I want to still create an efficient jungle path around the tower that I want to break. So I want to keep farming. So Raptors, Krugs, reset to bot, break bot tower. That's my game plan here. So I do Raptors, do my Krugs, reset straight to bot. But on your way to places as well, just be doing your camps. Remember, you do them so fast. You don't need to worry too much about the extra time. Sometimes you do need to skip your camps if something urgently is happening. But right now, like it's a Soraka Kai'Sa bot. There's nothing happening here. Just going to be playing a bit patiently here. Get some control wards, make sure I'm not getting seen. And I actually see Yas come down on bot here. So I'm going for all the way around loop, trying to get a good ganks off here. Lee Sin's literally here as well. But look at me, I'm 3 levels ahead of this Lee Sin. Almost 100 CS. So that was a pretty bad Q there. I need to back out, unfortunately. I should have really just gone straight on to Kai'Sa there. Just held my Q. So I decided just to rift this. They're all pretty low. So we have Senna and Misfortune. And Jace. So we have insane poke here. So I'm like, alright, well, this is where I'm just going to be throwing Qs. I don't even need to go with my ult anymore. So Jace gets a pick there, get rift. A lot of pressure going out right here. Yes, ults onto us. And we're going to get first tower here. 13 minutes in the game. 3 levels ahead of this Lee Sin. If I tab again, see the actual scoreboard. Just hit 13 minutes. And as you can see here, look at this. 40 CS up here. I have a huge gold experience advantage over him. I'm in the highest level in the game right now. Their solo laner Silas is, Yas is actually even with me. He's actually doing pretty well for CS, but this is full carry mode. I'm just unstoppable. I can just go and take whatever objective I want right now. So this is another example of an early game. Let's go into another example, which is a little bit different from these last two. In example 3, I'm going to be showing you about a bit more of a really messy early game. I actually don't get my Krugs here, so I don't get level 4. Graves actually contests me off them, pushed me off them, and then we spend a lot of time going back and forth bot. It's really sloppy, but we still get a really good early game off this. I want to show you again how to adapt to a more sloppy, the chaotic nature of solo queue that it is. Again, this is why I'm showing you a bunch of different examples. So one thing I didn't actually mention in the early jungle route is, and this is what I sort of adapted later on, because high elo junglers actually really know about this Olaf path. So what they actually do is they try and invade you when you're obviously on the red, because they know you're one shot. I mean, we saw how low health we are. Ideally, what's part of the point for clearing fast, to contest us on the red, because they know that we can't fight them because we're too low health. So what I do here is I start channeling my base around 53 seconds. This one, I didn't do it perfectly. I actually started doing it at 50 seconds. I realized I could push it to about 54 seconds-ish. Start your base, and then as soon as it's like about 1 second, then you place the ward, and then you switch out to Sweeper Trinket. And what that's going to do is it's going to tell me if the enemy jungler is going to be walking in to invade. So just so I can prepare for that. Alright, so I'm not going to show the early clear. That's standard. Always looking at lanes while I'm walking to my camp, see what's going on, do this. Actually missed my Q, that was a really bad Q there. So that sort of delays me a bit. But I actually am walking to here because I actually am a little bit afraid of Graves coming in to try and take this, because they did invade early. And again, I'm sort of thinking, okay, is he still going to try and go for this? So, but do get this red. But now he actually comes to my Krug. So this is where I lose my Krugs. I missed the smite on this. But Graves is only level 2. So the thing about this is they can really only ever get to you on red at level 2. So sometimes I also have literally just turned on my red and just killed them. Like smited red and just killed them on my red buff. So this is where it starts to get really messy. So I can't go for Scuttle. Fights are happening, breaking out here. Thresh, I think, gets a hook here on Ashe. So this is where the mess starts to come. But again, we still recover from this and have a really, really good early game. So whiff and axe there. They're still trying to kill my Ashe because she's really low. So I'm just trying to help defend here. Jhin flashes in. I really could have reacted to that, I think, a little bit better. But I guess Thresh did have Lantern. Anyway, I know that Jhin doesn't have Flash. He's separate from the team. We burn his heal. But now I need to back out again because Thresh is coming back. So this is just really sloppy. So, we do have priority mid here. So I'm like, okay, let's actually go for this Scuttle Crab. I know Graves is on this, and I actually tell this, like, let's come. She has priority here, and this is where utilizing your priority for lanes is really good. We see Graves on this here. He does get the crab, but he has no flash, remember. Chain CC, dead Graves. Guys, this is great. Sort of turned a sloppy early game into like, okay, Graves made a mistake. I capitalize on that. I'm going to go take his Raptors first because I know he hasn't taken them because he spent a lot of time bot side and he ditched them to come and take my red. So counter jungle these a bit. Take crab. I see Graves mid. So I've double crabbed him. Take my Gromp, take my Wolves. And remember the same thing as, I think it was first example on blue side. Full clear, like here, double crab, then Gromp, Wolves, and then base and reset for Dragon. So I actually see Graves down there who actually starts to do Dragon. So, but I'm trying to run here anyway. So running down, running down, running down. Fizz is collapsing here, but does die. But unfortunately, we do lose the first Dragon there. So Graves sort of capitalized on me being top there, which is pretty good. But we know Thresh, we know none of the enemy bot lane has summoners right now, so I let Lissandra get that kill. Place a deep control in there, just check his Gromp, but it's not up. And now, again, thinking, okay, clear farm, farm, farm. This is where I really want to try and extend my lead. So this sort of second, third clears is the turning points of Olaf games. This is where you get that huge experience and gold spike. So unfortunately, I did lose that first Dragon, but we still did pick up those kills, which is good. Full clear, full clear, full clear. But decide to actually come down here to look at helping top, but we pick off Graves here, get the kill, take crab, start Rift Herald with Lissandra priority. I'm not really afraid at all of the enemy top laner roaming because I actually just did fight and they're low HP. Blue, Gromp, Wolves, straight back bot, get my warrior as well. And now coming to help my Ashe because it looks like she's going to get dove here. But Ashe does play really well there to kill the Graves. I help her, but she still does die to this Fizz. But he has no E anymore, so I'm just going to run him down here. I ult the Jhin W, and now I'm just going straight on these guys here. Remember, I still know they don't have flash. And so I'll just let Liz get that kill and Rift here. So we've just killed them, we Rift, pop a bunch of plates here, waiting for the enemy bot lane to come back. Lissandra stays, she is still ult. So I don't think I may potentially would have done this play if Liz didn't have ult, because I know we can just go on this really easily again. Like, Lissandra ult's really good, so they try and walk up here. Lissandra comes in, ult the Jhin. Just remember, he still has no flash. I tank some tower shots. He burns stopwatch. I just hit the tower. Don't need to worry about Thresh at all. Finishing him off with an E. So we're 5-0-3 by 11 minutes. We've broken the first tower. Taking Dragon now. Super far ahead of Graves. Another great early game from sort of a really sloppy exchange. Again, one kill is all it takes to just start power farming. And Lissandra, I'll talk about in the champion select section. A little bit of a hint teaser. She's actually very, very good with Olaf, as we could see from this game. So, actually take a look a bit more about this. I don't think... Do we get some kills here? Yeah, okay. Fizz tries to kill me, but Lulu comes shields me, and we get the kills there. Alright, let's take a look at the fourth example of another good early game. In example 4, this is really about the playing to Olaf's strengths in terms of just his power through objective control. We missed the first scuttle here, but it still doesn't matter. We still power farm up, and this is really good in terms of I take first dragon, Rift Herald, and we're about 88 CS at literally 10 minutes. So pretty close to the clock. We've got both objectives. We've impacted the map. We've got a bunch of kills. So this is another, again, really good early game example. So let's take a look at this here. Showing you the ward strategy that I talked about in the other example. Again, trying to defend in case someone goes for my red here. And this is a better time to, I did channel my base around 54 seconds. Place my ward here, as you can see. Switch out to sweeper. Let's not worry about the clear here. Don't get invaded. Again, moving on to the scuttle crab, max HP with still a pot, and I see Yorick on here. So remember, no jungler can be level 4 right now here. So this is where Olaf always strong. So always be looking at priority right now. So I have top priority. I have like mid priority-ish, but I'm happy to go for this. So I'm literally ignoring the scuttle crab. I potentially could have trying to take it off him, but I'm just going for Yorick here. I'm just going to kill him. Get the double buffs there. It's definitely worth it for us. And we actually kill Annie here as well. Get the Q, max range Q there. Alright, let's double crab him. This is, again, really good early game start here. Take the crab. Gromp. Wolves. Raptors. So again, this second full clear. And I can't emphasize enough how this second full clear is just a huge differentiation in terms of like separating you from every other jungler. So now I'm doing Krugs. I've reset. I'm literally almost level 6. Like, Yorick's actually farmed pretty well here as well. I'm actually surprised about how quickly Yorick farms. But again, the emphasis here is all I need to do is one more camp, level 6. But I'm coming down here for Dragon. So I come straight down for Dragon. Get some control wards. Make sure you set this up correctly. Don't get sloppy. Don't rush doing Dragon. Make sure you get some control wards. You sweep around. They commit to my Nami here. Aurelia actually comes in here. We know Yorick doesn't have flash, so we're going to kill this guy pretty easily. Just pop my ult. Back off. Get some lifesteal. Really good from my team there. Dragon. Crab. And now I'm going to create an efficient path around this Rift Herald. So what I do here is I do Gromp, Wolves. Working straight up to top here. Do my Raptor camp as well. Do my red. Again, just full clear. Do something on the map, full clear. Do something on the map, full clear. 75 CS right now. I actually see Yorick bot, so this is actually my indication to go for Rift Herald. But why I don't do Rift Herald straight away here is Olaf, if you actually notice where Yorick died. Okay, so Yorick didn't die here. But Yorick is now on the map, and he actually sees me on this control ward here. So I'm sort of making it a bit obvious that I'm going to go do Rift Herald. So what I do here is I kill this ward, sort of try and duke out that I'm not going for a Rift, but I just realize I just can't do this right now because I feel like Yorick could easily come and interrupt this. So I place a control ward here, and I'm actually thinking Annie might walk in here as well. So I just sit here and wait patiently. I know Yorick's going to walk in here because he's probably done as well all his bot camps because he was just bot side, so there's nothing else for him to do but come and check River, check Rift Herald. He's pretty fishy. He's probably thinking, oh, you know, Olaf could be on this. So I literally wait here for a good, like, 20 seconds plus. And then Olaf walks in. I'm 2 levels ahead right now. Just absolutely slaughter him. Flash after him. We have flashes around the same time. Kill him. Take Rift. And again, look at the CS now. 80 CS, 99 minutes, 30 seconds. We're going to have this Rift Herald as well. Get another crab. 88 CS, 10 minutes. We have Rift Herald. This is really good for us in terms of another perfect early game. So let's jump into now 2 examples of what happens when we don't play to our strengths, when we start taking unnecessary fights, things that aren't playing to your champion identity. Example 5 here, I'm going to be showing you what you shouldn't be doing as Olaf, what doesn't align with his champion identity, and just common mistakes that you can make that just throw your entire game off. So here I'm versing a Skarner, which I actually am pretty happy about. I definitely can destroy Skarner in terms of early game. Come down here for Crab. What I get greedy here is that I do have priority top, but I don't have priority mid. And I don't know where Silas is. And I see Silas pop up here. Skarner's level 3 there. I'm pretty confident we can still fight this, but I'm not taking into account how far away my Annie is, and she actually needs to get this CS. So I actually could have easily just backed off here. But then I actually get hit by that Silas there. I potentially could have just flashed it, and then I use flash. I compensate here, I die, and I literally get my entire team killed here as well. So they kill both my Set and my Annie. So, Don't make this mistake. My entire game has been thrown off now. Skarner can potentially double scuttle me. Don't make this mistake. Don't force that crab. If all you need to do there is all I need to do there is actually just be a little bit patient. You know, in the other game where I was patient with the lease in, just come and camp that brush and don't start the scuttle. Remember, you're level 4, you're Olaf. The enemy can't be level 4. The enemy jungler can't be level 4 because they can't clear it as quickly as you can and get to that crab before you. So be patient, wait for Annie to come here, or maybe even just gank mid and then look to do scuttle crab. So patience. If you know you can't get it, say if you don't have priority mid or top, then you're just going to base and go bot for that bot crab, and then look to re-clear your Grump and Wolves on spawn, or look to a gank mid or bot. So let's jump into the final example of the early games, another one where we're showing unnecessary fights around the first crabs. So example 6 here could have been an amazing early game, and just through just one simple mistake, I completely stuffed it up. I completely ruined the flow of the game. I ruined my champion identity as Olaf, again being that strong early jungler, getting that insane lead, and breaking the rule of dying before 5 minutes. So come down here, bots fighting. I haven't been invaded on level 4. There's a level 2 brand coming down here to gank this. And I come down here, I kill this brand. Okay, so this is it. Alright, we win the early game right now. This should be very simple and clean. Take the crab, and I'm looking to double crab now, because this is what we always want to be doing. And then be looking to clear out, remember, Grump Wolves and base for Dragon. That's the best game plan here. Come mid. Rise TPs. We chase Vlad out. I look at top. Vlad actually is around here as well. And I have looked at top. I see Brand and Vlad here. Rise doesn't have priority. I just give this crab up. And the thing that I stuffed up here is my ego in terms of Olaf. Is that I'm thinking, okay, this is a Brand. He's super weak. It's a Vlad. I can just kill these guys. But I can't 1v2 hero these guys. Also, Vlad has Ignite, which I didn't account for. And I have a Rise. So I even burn my Flash. And this is fine. I mean, this is not fine. I burnt Flash defensively, which you don't want to be doing as Olaf. I'll talk about that later in the guide. But we continue to fight here. I get baited. Well, I bait myself, really. And the crab's gone. There's no reason to fight here. All I need to do is Grump, Wolves, base, and go to drag. I'll be level 5. Brain will be level 3, and we can get first dragon. But I get all in here, and I die. So even losing that crab's fine. Do Grump, Wolves, base, bot for drag. Don't take unnecessary fights. I have a lead. Again, my advantage as Olaf is I can power farm the jungle and still impact the map. Rise can, I mean, Brand can do the other, only one or the other. He can only farm or like gank. That's the thing with Olaf. You can do both, and that's his strength. So again, not playing a champion identity here, taking unnecessary fights, ruin what should have been a good early game. All right, so let's now jump into. That's enough for the early game examples. Let's jump into standard things for Olaf. Champion guides in general for League of Legends, runes, skill order, item builds, and then we can be looking for a more of a full game example. Okay, diving into runes now, we have two main options. We're going to be going Conqueror every single game, and the options come in terms of the secondary tree. We're either going Inspiration or the Resolve tree secondary. Now, you might be thinking, Nathan, where's Sorcery? I've seen a bunch of guides and a bunch of high elo players going Sorcery for Olaf. Sorcery, Sorcery, Sorcery. So let's talk about it. So the Sorcery runes, obviously, the popular ones is you go Water Walking, Nimbus Cloak. And I initially tried these out. And there's just something about them. I just felt like they're not needed for Olaf. I'm not going to say they're bad. They're definitely good and they sort of synergize with Olaf. Nimbus Cloak's really good for, say, going Red Smite or even doubling up on the extra move speed for Blue Smite to get on targets. But I felt like if I was getting on targets, Nimbus Cloak wasn't the difference. Like, if I get on targets with Flash or something, they're going to be dead anyway. The way that I view Olaf is that you're going to get on a target, they're going to die, or they're not. And if you're, like, running for a long distance towards them, those are fights you don't really want to be taking necessarily anyway. And again, I will talk about that when we move into the actual how to fight with Olaf section of this guide. And water walking, again, I think it's great for that with river control, moving quickly to places through river fighting. But again, if you look at all those early game examples we looked at, we either hard won those early game fights anyway, because again, we're level 4, or we hard lost them, or we're giving them up because we don't have priority. I felt like water walking is just not that useful. So let's go into the options. This is the Inspiration secondary tree. And you might be also thinking, okay, Nathan, like, you can convince me on water walking, but approach velocity. What's going on here? This is the staple rune that everyone talks about for Olaf. I apply the exact same principles for Nimbus Cloak to approach velocity. If you're needing the move speed to get on them through approach velocity, you're playing the fights incorrectly. That's not how you want to be playing Olaf. You want to be playing Olaf fights on your terms, and being an assassin, which again we'll talk about a little bit more in this guide. It's going to make more sense. So let's talk a little bit about the precision tree here. So Conqueror, always Triumph. This is pretty cookie cutter. Always Alacrity. Never take Tenacity. You're not taking Tenacity at all on Olaf. You don't need Tenacity with your ultimate if you're playing correctly. Last Stand synergizes really well with his passive and just in general skirmishing. For Olaf, you can also take Coup de Grace. Take Coup de Grace against a very squishy team, a bunch of ranged champions. Always switch out armor for magic resistance against an AP jungle mid. These are really the only variations, but in general, I found these were the best runes for Olaf. So let's talk a little bit about Cosmic Insight over Approach Velocity. So Cosmic Insight helps you early clear. It helps you get those Qs off. It gives you that 45% CDR. It gets you off those E's a lot more. I found that E's is just Olaf's bread and butter. The E's are consistent true damage. It just tears through tanks. It tears through champs. I just love the feel of Cosmic Insight. It's way more consistent than Approach Velocity. Again, similar to Nimbus Cloak, I just couldn't see situations in the game where like, oh, I wish I had Approach Velocity there. Like, some situations, but I love the consistency from Cosmic Insight. And you want Magical Footwear here because Magical Footwear is very good in terms of your build. It gives you that extra move speed to help you get onto targets. And also, just your build path. You just rush that warrior. Okay, so second option here is the Resolve Tree secondary. Same runes, same concept for the precision tree here, and you want to be taking Bone Plane Revitalize here. So this was very good against champs that have a lot of bursts, like Lee Sin and Lee Kha'Zix versus assassin champs in the mid lane, Talon, Zed. Also works really well with healing / shield support champs using Revitalize. Take Coup de Grace as usual if against a very squishy team, and switch out armor for magic resistive against AP jungle mid. But usually this tree, I would always be taking armor because assassin champions are usually AD. I mean, there is obviously some AP assassin champs, and obviously Elise is in here, but you can switch out for magic resist there. Also want to talk about never take attack speed. Never ever take attack speed here. You have so much inbuilt attack speed into your kit. You need the extra damage for this double adaptive helps your clearing in terms of those Qs, those axes, which is everything in terms of your early game damage, and also your E, just the whole kit. Get double adaptive here. Never take attack speed. You don't need it for the clearing. Okay, so let's go over some rune choice exercises here, applying these principles, concepts towards it. So this game here, I'm against a Kha'Zix, a Lucian, Cassiopeia, Misfortune, Soraka. So you might be thinking, okay, Nathan, you're against a Kha'Zix, you should take the Bone Plating, Revitalize. But here, I'm against a lot of very squishy champs. They're going to be sort of hard for me to get onto. It's just going to be like Bone Plating here. There's a lot of consistent damage here. That's the thing. We have a lot of consistent damage here in terms of like 280 carries, Cassio's consistent damage. There's no Bone Plating Revitalize is going to do nothing for me. I don't have a healing support champ here. One thing here I actually did mess up. I should have taken Coup de Grace. This is definitely a Coup de Grace game. There's no reason for me to take Last Stand. Fights are not going to be going for very long. Should have taken Coup de Grace there. But again, sort of showing you an example there of when to take inspiration. Next example here, this is a very good game for inspiration tree. Yes, I do have a Janna, but I'm not, again, I can't take Resolve and Revitalize because there's too much consistent damage in this comp. I need this to really be getting in on targets, and this is actually the comp where I did take Coup de Grace because there's lots of squishy targets here. Last Stand, the fights are not going to be going long at all. So let's take a look at some examples for the Resolve tree. So this game here, against very heavy bursty melee champs here, Nocturne, Jax, Hecarim, need to take Last Stand. Fights are going to be going long, and I can just get one shot here. So whenever I feel like I'm going to get one shot in fights, I take Revitalize. Next game here, I again into a pretty heavy melee comp tanky team here, Nautilus, Darius, Silas. So taking Revitalize here. With Bone Plating and Last Stand, don't need to take Coup de Grace here because again, Last Stand, these fights are going to go long, and as you can see, these games did really well. Alright, that's what's up for runes here. Let's jump now into the skill order. Okay, skill order here is pretty self-explanatory. We already know about putting 2 points in queue for the early jungle clear examples there. So make sure that for fast clear speed. Then we want to be maxing E second. That's a lot of our damage. Obviously skill up R, 6, 11, 16, and then finish off W last. Okay, item builds. We're going to have a core standard build for Olaf that I think is best with him, and then a build that we need to adapt if we're playing against a lot of AP champs. So, standard build. Warrior. Warrior, 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 blue smite every single game. There is actually one game I think in the examples where I did go red smite, but as I went through this guide, I realized I really need blue smite because the fact that I'm not taking approach velocity or nimbus cloak, I need that blue smite for getting on targets. Even if you're against a lot of melee targets, I feel like it's still really important. I mean, at the end of the day, every team's going to have an AD carry. Just for getting on the AD carry, it's just really important. It sort of just eliminates that option. Moving into boots now, and you see here, never ever ever build Merc Treads. I don't care how many AP champs you're versing, you don't need the tenacity. If you're playing Olaf correctly, again we'll go into the team fighting section, the skirmishing section, you have your ults, you don't need tenacity, it's a waste. Ninja tubs or Swifty boots are ideal. I really like Swifty boots, I think it's great. Again, this is good for getting on the targets quickly, again sort of taking away Nimbus Cloak and Approach Velocity. You have all this extra move speed, especially with Magical Footwear. Magical Footwear plus Boots of Swiftness, loved it. I was so fast. But if you're versing a lot of AD champs, obviously you want Ninja Tarbs. Black Cleaver, always secondary. And then basically the standard build here is Steraks, or you're going to go more if you're against 2 or more AP champs here as your sort of third item. So this is going to help the assassin mindset in terms of you can get in there, do lots of damage, have these little survivability tools, and this is where GA comes in as well. So the standard build here is just full survivability, assassination sort of mode. This one here, you can, I really did like building GA next, because let's say if I'm building Swifty Boots, Black Cleaver, more, I really sort of want some sort of armor items because, you know, most champs are going to be doing some sort of AD damage, so get some armor from that. But if you're against a very heavy AP comp, then you get the Spirit Visage. So I'd say 2 AP champs, go this. Anything more than 2 AP champs, then let's be going Spirit Visage. Okay, so let's run through some exercises for this build, applying these principles to these games. So this game here, I went for the standard build. I did Warrior, Ninja Tarbs, Steraks, Black Cleaver into GA. So reason being here, this game is that there really is, I mean, Soraka's sort of AP, obviously Cassiopeia is AP here, but remember, I don't really count, like that's 1.5 AP champs here. Like if it will say Cassio Echo, then that's sort of when I'll be going the more build, but I need the survivability from Steraks against like Lucian, Misfortune. This game here, I went the more into GA build, and this is because I'm versing an Eve and Echo, alright? And I also went Swifty Boots here, because I really wanted to get onto the Ashe and Swain, and also Echo. So also the way you want to view Swifty Boots is if the enemy team has a lot of slow abilities, then it's really good to take Swifty Boots. So Swifty Boots is obviously very good against Ashe. Eve sort of has a slow, Echo has slows, and Swain has some slows. So Swifty Boots are really good against slow comps as well. Team with lots of slow abilities. A couple more examples here. So I went Ninja Tarbs this game. I went the standard build. This game I'm versing a Darius, Misfortune, Nautilus thing. Definitely way better to get Steraks here. Fights are going to go long. There's not more than 2 AP champs here. And then another game here I go more, and I go, this is actually a pretty long game, 39 minutes. We don't really want to be going this, so we did build Spirit Visage after GA. We've got a lot of items here, but into 2 AP champs here, Echo and Cassidon. And I didn't build Ninja Tarbs here, and I guess that this is a game potentially to build Ninja Tarbs. I think I should have gone Ninja Tarbs this game. There's not really enough slows to warrant this, but, you know, obviously worked out. But yeah, I think that some of these could... Again, I think Swifties I think is really good if you're really far ahead. Like, you don't really feel like the AD champs are doing much. Like, at the end of the day, Camille Twitch is going to scale up. I think Twitch was actually really far behind in that game, so I didn't feel like I needed it. But I still think Ninja Tarbs would have been good that game. Okay, so that's going to wrap up the item builds here. Let's continue working through this guide. Alright, champion select. When is Olaf best to pick? So, let's start first with what Olaf really struggles against. You notice here that these champions are circled in red. These are absolute hard mode. All of these champs are hard, but these champs are like incredibly hard. So, Fiora. So pretty much the way you need to think about this is that Olaf is not good against champs that can jump over wards or can easily kite him or can delay his ults. Like, let's say they have abilities like Lissandra, she can ult through your ult, make you pretty much render useless. Ari can kite you through ult. Fizz has E. Kha'Zix has his stealth abilities, and obviously Tryndamere has his R to like sort of counteract your R. So these mid champs here, they're very slippery. They can wait out your R, they can kite you easily, they can really make your life live in hell as Olaf. These are all support champs that are pretty slippery. You might be thinking, why is Yuumi in on here, Nathan? Okay, he helps champs kite with her E and obviously her ult as well. Obviously, you sort of can get onto it, but the thing as well with Yuumi lanes is you can't really, like, Olaf isn't the strongest ganker, so you can't really impact the lane as much as you would like to early, which allows Yuumi to scale up, making her actually very hard to deal with. AD carries is not so bad, but these are all champs that I'd rather not be playing against, or like looking to gank. Like Lucian probably is the worst of them. Obviously, these are all champs that can run away from you. I mean, you can get some slows on Ez and his QE becomes useless, but it's the fact that he can jump over walls. Same with Kate. So junglers here. So my ban was actually Graves. You might think, okay, Nathan, why don't you ban one of these champs? These champs aren't as popular enough in terms of like banning. Graves actually has become really popular, and Graves is a bit of a nightmare to verse in terms of the jungle. He can sort of match your clear speed, and he sort of outscales you, and he's very good into AD champs because he can stack the grit. So Graves, more because of his popularity, but every time I verse the Graves, I'm like, I wish he just wasn't in the game. My early game would be so much easier. Or Kassadin as well. And Kassadin, he's not on the list of like hard mode, but Kassadin is just an annoying champion solo queue. He gets to level 16, he scales up, makes your life very hard, and I can't deal with him because he can jump over walls. I can't just go and one-shot him. He can get away from my ult, kite me through it really easily. So these are all champs that Olaf struggles against. So you can play around with the bans here. If you feel like you're versing a bunch of like, you know, one of these champs, then maybe just ban it. Let's say if you're in lower elo and I don't know, Trinity is super popular or something, or you're versing one of these one tricks recently in a game, you're like, oh, I'm just going to ban it next game. But just indicate, especially for when you're ganking these lanes early, very, very hard to gank these lanes early. And that's the thing, that these champs all sort of eliminate options, especially the laners, these mid and solo lanes, of like ganking. Obviously, Shen can run away with his taunt. Camille can run away with an E. In terms of jungle matchups here, Master Yi just eats through you. You have no CC lockdown for him. Yi really struggles against lockdown, which you don't have obviously as Olaf. Oh, that's the other thing as well. If you're versing Taric Yi comps, just dodge or don't pick Olaf. If you're thinking about picking Olaf, because it's just not possible to beat Taric Yi comps with Olaf. You just do nothing. Kindred, sort of the same thing. He can kite you early game. Jarvan can run away with his EQ. Shaco's very slippery. Nidalee can slaughter you in terms of counter jungling you early, really punish you for that blue clear, but didn't verse many Nidalees. Kha'Zix can obviously kite you through his ult. Warwick sort of matches your strength early. And can sort of like take those early drags from you, and a little bit annoying. Same with sort of Trundle here as well. Trundle sort of ult just eats at you, and his pillar sort of can really disrupt you in terms of you can't really run through a pillar. You obviously don't get slowed, but the pillar can sort of really disrupt you as well. So, and Trundle also has very good early strength. So let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or concerns around this. But this is the list of champs that I just really would struggle against in my solo queue games. Alright, so moving now on to what he's good with. So in general, you notice, yes, this is actually a pretty slim list. And I wasn't too worried about the champs that I was playing with. It's more if I'm playing against those champs, and then it's like, oh, Olaf wouldn't be really good to play in those games. But what really complements Olaf is like supportive champs with speed ups or shields. To help you get on targets and survive on low HP. You might be looking here, why is Soraka not here? She's like, it's pretty supportive and stuff, but she actually does have a heal. You actually don't want to get healed. That's why shields are so good on Olaf, is that you can keep your low health passive, W last stand, and shields don't obviously account for that, because that's not counted for your health, it's just a shield. So champs like Yuumi, obviously she has heals, but she can speed you up, right? Zillion, speed. Lulu, speed. I love Lulu Olaf because she can ult you as well. Janna, Karma, Olaf I think is a great combo. Morgana is in here because I like Morgana in terms of helping me gank pre level 6. She can spell shield you if there's like CC champs like, I don't know, Nautilus, Leonas and stuff like that. So I really like, and also the lockdown. That's the thing as well, is that these champs, you might notice, okay, these mid champs don't really have shields or speed ups. But these champs have the lockdown for Olaf to get to be able to close the distance between you, because obviously you're just walking towards people. These champs allow you to close the distance they CC, you just walk up to them, get that free Q off, and then just slaughter them. So I think Lissandra Olaf is a great combo. I love LeBlanc. Vega has hard CC. Nico. Orianna is great because she can speed you up and shield you, similar to these support champs. Kale has his ult, which is really handy, but really rarely got into games with Kales. And Siva obviously is really the only ADC that has a speed up, so she's good for you as well. So this is all the champs I think Olaf again is really good with. Let's now move into the next section of the guide, which is going to be talking about how to be fighting skirmishing, specifically in the mid to late game stages of your games. The way I like to think about fighting with Olaf is these two modes here, the Rabid Dog mode and the Sniper mode. You might be thinking, Nathan, these are two different separate things. This doesn't make any sense. It's going to make more sense when I show the gameplay here. But the way that I viewed it here is the Rabid Dog mode. This is when you're ulting in. This is when you're ult flashing in. This is the assassin sort of mindset. You're a Rabid Dog. You're just coming to rip that person's throat out. You don't care about anything else that's going. That's your target. That's what you're killing. Mode 2 Sniper is more sort of layback when you're not ulting. So this is about the pre-fight. This is the slow sniper, then Rabid Dog mode. So I'm going to show you some examples of this playing really effectively. And what I say is use both of these modes in combination to play Olaf in these fights. What really helps me, and this is a huge tip, have in mind an easy target to assassinate before fighting. And this is champs that weren't in that list of champs that are hard to play against, that Olaf struggles against because they can kite you. So easy targets that like are very immobile, don't have flash. Zhonya's is actually, stopwatch is another thing you need to think about. That makes targets not as easy to kill. But this made me think, okay, before the fight, this is my kill target. This is the Rabid Dog that I'm going to be going. I'm going to be going Rabid Dog mode on this target. There's nothing they can do about it. So this really helps you visualize how you want to be playing fights. Use flash aggressively, not defensively. This is really important. If I didn't have flash in a fight, it made it much more difficult to kill these targets, to enter the Rabid Dog mode. So whenever you're burning flash defensively, think of that as Olaf as a huge mistake. Must be using flash pretty much always aggressively. Stopwatch, Guardian Angel, Serix and more all complement this, and this is why you build these items, because you can be a Rabid Dog, go for this target, and then you're essentially, like what I say here, most of the time as soon as you enter the Rabid Dog mode, there's no going back. Your goal is to do as much damage as possible to the closest targets before dying. Again, these items help you. You might survive with the Triumph, all that sort of stuff. But this is, again, the way you're going to be thinking about Olaf when you're fighting. E off cooldown is a lot of damage, and this comes back to why I love Cosmic Insight and items like Black Cleaver getting that 20% CDR. So I mean, if you think about it, with just Black Cleaver, Warrior, and Cosmic Insight, that's 35% cooldown reduction. And your E's are just, you're pumping those out. And you get reduced cooldown reduction on E's as you auto attack as well. So another huge tip is don't be a hero. You need to be careful. I know it's Rabid Dog mode and Rabid Dog isn't going to be caring about the situation, but this is a factor of League where you need to be a little bit smart. Don't be a hero in 1v3, think you can 1v2, 1v5. Even though sometimes you can, pick your fights wisely. Go in and making sure that the enemy team is off guard, or they're like, okay, Olaf is potentially on a flank, he could just flash on me and kill me, right? That's scary. But if you're just an Olaf, just obviously walk into someone, there's a support, the whole enemy team's around, ready to like stop you or just burst you down, that's not going to work. So don't be a hero and assess your fights. Don't just run in as a crazy Rabid Dog. Think them through and play fights on your terms to your advantage. So let's now jump into a couple of examples here. I want to show you about these two modes sort of in effect. It really helps me in my games. Okay, so for the first example here, I want to show you the Sniper mode and the Rabid Dog mode working in conjunction with each other. As you can see right here, we are 6 kills down. This looks like it's a team fight that's going to happen. We're versing a Taric as well, so we need to be very careful of Taric ult. So my mindset here is just max range Qs, get the max range slow. So that's the other thing. When you throw your Q, the further you throw it, you hit him, the higher slow you get. So that's why Sniper mode is really obnoxious with Olaf. And then I'm just waiting for the opportunity to just go Rabid Dog mode, pop my ult and kill someone. So I actually missed that Q there, but pick up Q, throw Q, run back, kite, E, walk back, throw some more Qs, pop my ult, and this is where I start going Rabid Dog mode. And then I see Jax, hit a Q on him, flash into him, and then hitting closest target. Hit, take Baron. That's a good skirmish win for us. Alright, this is another example of just how obnoxious max range Qs are. So this is sniper mode. Snipe. Hit another Akali with a Q slow there. She's super slow. Phyllis gets a really good ult there. Qs again. Snipe. And throw another Q, snipe. Just sniper mode. Don't need to worry about going Rabid Dog mode here. Okay, this is Rabid Dog mode right here. Remember, what you need to do is identify an easy to kill target before the fights. And even if it's a support, right? So, as you can see here, I'm actually pretty far ahead, but it's still pretty close. But the target that I've identified here is I'm killing Pyke no matter what. I don't care what happens in the fight. So, come in here, I'm flanking, sort of taking these guys off by guard. Dead Pyke, back off. Rabid Dog mode, like, I'm just tear his throat apart and back off with my ult because I need to wait it out. Okay, this example here, I'm identifying targets right here. It was originally Draven, but then I realized Nico's ulting, kill her super quick, kill these backlines. Now I'm just Rabid Dog mode. Get a triple kill there. Okay, on a dragon here. Trying to finish off the dragon. Rabid Dog mode on Misfortune, right here. Enemy team splits. I've identified Misfortune, super easy target. I love killing Misfortune as Olaf because she's super immobile. She fits that category. She doesn't kite me. She even flashed and I just caught her in the pit. And there's nothing they can do about it. Even Nautilus tried to peel, and that's where Rabid Dog mode's so really good for Olaf in terms of nothing the enemy team can go about it. So there's a bit of an earlier skirmish I wanted to include in terms of this is sort of Rabid Dog mode, knowing that you can't escape and all you need to do is as much damage as possible in terms of just auto attacks and ease. So they go in my blitz, I start hitting the Lee Sin, and then I know I can't get a Misfortune. I need to pick up my axe, keep healing, Q. Now I'm sort of going sniper mode, kiting, back to her, Rabid Dog mode, and because I have to run away from Darius, and we get a skirmish there, literally kill 3 people there. Okay, Rabid Dog mode here, straight onto Misfortune. I don't care about Soraka. Look at this, straight for this. There's nothing they can do. Exhaust. Slaughter her there. Okay, this is again Rabid Dog mode, just killing the Lee Sin, nothing the enemy team can do. Flash away. That was a defensive flash, which I did say you don't want to be doing, but if you can do that and get away with a flash, that's still good. Really rarely was doing that, to be honest. And this is sort of 19 minutes in the game as well. So sort of just throwing some sniper Qs, but that's pretty much the end of that skirmish. Alright, walking down here, ready for a dragon. Okay, Rabid Dog straight away. She's burnt her ult. I'm going straight on her, ult in. Kill her. Who's the next target? Rabid Dog mode. Hitting whatever's closest to me. Killing the Swain. Now he's Zonya's. Now I go kill the Ashe. Now I come back and I stopwatch. So again, this is where stopwatch and GA and stuff, these items are so good for you as Olaf, because it just helps that you amplify that Rabid Dog mode. When you're actually in trouble, you just pop those and you're so annoying. Rabid Dog mode, I've identified Janna, super quick kill. Do all my damage on her, back off with a Thresh Hook. So now I need to enter sniper mode, because I don't have ult anymore. So as you can see here, I'm sitting back, trying to peel my Kalista a bit. Sniper mode, I hit a really good Q on Shyvana there. Sort of just back off here on Jax, make him run away. He comes and kills them. Get a Q on him, and we get the kill on Jax. So good team fight for us. Okay, we've got a Baron fight. As you can see, it's 36-37, pretty close. I need to identify Rabid Dog mode target here. I believe it is an Ashe here, so I'm thinking of Ashe. Remember, way before this, 35 minutes ago, I was thinking I'm going to Rabid Dog mode on Ashe this game. So they kill Echo, but I ignore all of them right now, straight on Ashe. She flushes away, she can't do any damage from that fight. And we get a free clean kill team fight win there, because Ashe just can't do any damage. Alright, so just going full Rabid Dog mode here, kill him, flush straight on Misfortune, just tearing her apart. Nautilus tries to peel, but again, that's why you don't need tenacity, because look at that. How's tenacity going to help you there? Or kill it all in the time that I do my ult. Alright, Rabid Dog mode on Misfortune here. Again, you see how many times I kill Misfortune? It's ridiculous. And Misfortune's super popular champ, and I just tear through it. Using Flash aggressively, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have Flash, right? So that's why using it defensively is not ideal. Alright, going straight on some targets here. So I identify Hecarim as the biggest threat in this fight. So I go straight on Heck. Also use Flash to dodge Lucian's ult there. Now entering a bit of sniper mode, and we finish off cleaning these guys off. So killing easy targets or priority targets that are going to do lots of damage is really important. That's why AD carries are so good to go. Rabid mode, straight on this Victor. I see him overextend. Ezreal gets a really good kill there. Who's the next target? Misfortune. Who's the next target? Nautilus. And then we finish off killing Kane. Okay, so sitting back here, thinking of going a bit sniper mode here, throwing some Qs, but that Q doesn't hit. Pretty good ult by Philos there. Rabid Dog mode, here I go. So notice how I just ditched Thresh. The priority target here is Malzahar. That's what I'm thinking. So I ditched Thresh. Lee Sin just comes up to me, I just one-shot him. Missed the Q there on Thresh, but don't go just for killing things that are closest to you. Kill the targets that are going to be able to get on you. And think again, all these situations, like I don't need Nimbus Cloak or Approach Velocity. Like they're dead, they're dead. Like again, like this just look at the facts here of these games. Like Approach Velocity, Water Walking just wouldn't help me in these fights, and it still works. Alright, Rabid Dog mode on this guy. He tries to exhaust me. Exhaust is going to do a little bit to me, but I'm just going to tear through him. Now we need to enter in a bit of sniper mode here, and whoosh, that's a deadly sin. Alright, a couple more examples here. So Jarvan actually comes to gank, so I sort of back off, thinking about sniper mode, and then I'm going to enter Rabid Dog mode as soon as I see an opportunity. Okay, there's Xayah. Walk forward, walk forward, walk forward. Dodge your ult. Rabid Dog mode here. So as soon as someone mispositions, be ready. Just be looking, eyeing on the squishy target. Just go straight for them, a squishy and mobile target. So I'm thinking right here, Mel's. But then I'm like, actually no, I just kill these other low target priorities. Ult in. Going for Triss first. Get the blue smite. Again, Approach Velocity, Nimbus Cloak, I don't need it. Don't need it at all. Cosmic Insight, Magical Footwear is so much better here. Rabid Dog mode on this Aphelios. Look at this. There's just nothing you can do. Here's a perfect example of Karma complimenting me. Just want to show that again because that was pretty quick. Alright, so I'm just chilling here. Again, all these clips I have Flash aggressively. Flash is so important. I'm literally just running and killing this guy. Rabid Dog mode. Alright, and that's going to be it for the examples here. So I hope this is helpful for you understanding how you want to be fighting with Olaf. And then this is going back. He's an assassin. Tell me he's not an assassin from the way you want to be fighting here. You're going Rabid Dog mode, all in on someone, or you're sitting back and just throwing some slow Qs. But at the end of the day, you always finish off with Rabid Dog mode. That's where Olaf is very, very strong. So let's now wrap all this together, all this team fighting, all the early game stuff, the first clear, the champion select, into a full game example showing you how to close out a game with an early lead. Okay, so we've talked a lot in this guide about the importance of early game for Olaf in terms of bringing that back to his champion identity. This game, I want to show you how I fully close out a game with an early lead. And this game I thought was such a great example because I'm against another power farming jungler in terms of Shyvana, but I end up having 200 CS farm at 21 minutes. We end the game with my early lead at 25 minutes and finish score with 806. So let's dive into this game from start to finish and talk about my mindset, my thought process, how I close out games with early leads as Olaf using all the material in this guide. Okay, so let's take a look at this game now. As I said, obviously versus a Shyvana, she's going to be trying to power farm, get level 6, start scaling, but also against a Jinx here who scales very well. Definitely want to be trying to end this game out as quickly as possible. But again, let's take a look at the early game, how we look to close out this game regardless. So you might notice I actually have started with Sweeper Trinket, and I did talk about in the early game examples how I really like to start with my warding totem and then switch out like ward here. And then obviously switch out to Sweeper Trinket, ward there at like 56, 58 seconds, so then I know if I'm getting invaded. But against these champs like Shyvana, I'm not afraid of getting invaded on my red at all, so I like to start Sweeper. And the huge reason for why I like to start Sweeper is that if they come in down here or place a ward, so I come here in case they place a ward there, or if they place a ward here, I can sweep it and give my laners a free level 2, which is actually really big. Because so look at this here, they've warded this, and I tell Lucian, take this for a level 2. So they'll get level 2 in lane quickly, which can make a huge difference. So I just auto attack it, let him finish it off, get the gold. I get closer to level 2, but it doesn't matter for me because I'm at level 2 anyway. But this is why starting sweep is actually very good sometimes. And early game junglers really like to ward early because they're scared of you invade, especially Olaf. They like to get scared of you and getting you invading on them. Alright, so I do my standard clear here. We won't really go into this, but looking at my lane, seeing what's going on. Always good to have good map awareness, using F keys or clicking the map. Clear, clear, clear. So, again, smite this big one here like we talked about. Actually, I didn't smite it for some reason. Okay, this is not good. Pop health potions. Okay, so I don't know why I didn't smite there, but I would be full health right now. Coming down to this Rift Scuttler, I have bot priority. Looking to double scuttle this Shyvana potentially now. Shyvanas will pretty much always start red. And as I said, if enemy junglers always start in red, then if they're coming down, then they're going to be here for when scuttle spawns. So that's always why I say, if they start red, you should always double scuttle. Again, unless a fight sort of breaks out. But that's my goal objective right here. So she's going to AFK farm, but I'm going to take both scuttles here. So take the first scuttle here. Now come in on mid. Looking to gank this Echo on my way through, but I don't care. I'm just going for the double scuttle. I wave to Echo saying, hey, how's it going? And I go take this Scuttle Crab as well. So like I said here, so I look at top, but I don't really want to gank this Riven. Like, Fiora is pretty low. I'm just coming up here to just put out some pressure. So I know she is watered early as well, so I clear that, but unfortunately I don't get the gold. So this next clear that I talk about, and this next clear is like the crucial turning point for how your identity for Olaf in terms of getting your level 6 quickly and also be playing around your objectives. So as usual, I want to do Gromp Wolves here and base and reset for Dragon. But if I'm on red side, then what I like to do on this second clear is I full clear up, because you don't need to worry about basing for health or mana, because again, you want to be low health and you can always W. You can never die in your jungle with low health and W. That's the good thing about Olaf. So then I'll do full clear and base to do Dragon, but I'm on blue side, so I'll just do this. But again, the flow of the game and the way it works, this clear is just beautiful. It's amazing. That's why you never want to start red. So I'm looking bot lane actually gets some good kills there. So I'm also thinking in terms of bot lane, they're my win condition. I want to try and break bot as quickly as possible. So I see Shyvana down here. Unfortunately, Shyvana gets some kills here. So this is where it's definitely not good. She's starting to scale. So this is where the game starts to get a little bit difficult. So she's actually technically impacted the map more than me, which is not what I want to have happened. So she gets a kill on Thresh there as well. But I do see her low HP, and I'm thinking, okay, I can quickly take Dragon here, I think. So come down here. I have my blue smite. Using my sweeper, just clearing. I see a control ward here. And I just go straight for drag, because I know how I have bot priority, I have mid priority, just take drag. I know Shyvana's looking to base. She hadn't based yet, so she must be based right now. There's no way she's going to stay on the map with just a talisman. So we get a free dragon. This is great objective control. And this is all was possible because of that path. Again, this is why the early path is so important. I wouldn't have been able to do this if I started a red buff. So now, power farming. I'm going to be level 6 after this camp. Getting strong. But right now you need to think... So right now you could be sweating, thinking, okay, well Nathan, you're playing Olaf, but you haven't done anything. Literally, you're versus 2-0 Shyvana. She's probably about even with you in gold, even though I'm up like 17 CS right now. But she has a whole jungle to clear as well, so she can catch up pretty damn quick. But again, I want to show you just the power of just keep farming, keep impacting the map when your camps are down. Looking for objectives, controlling objectives. So the next objective here is Scuttle Crab. So we're going to do these Krogs. We're going to go straight for Rift Scuttler. Again, I'm just trying to think about, I'm taking every objective. Shyvana can't contest me. I'm so much stronger than her right now. So take the crab. I see Shyvana here. She tries to quickly snag this, but she overextends for it. And Twisted Fate. And remember, Twisted Fate is on the list of champs that is pretty good for Olaf, because they have the CC, the lockdown there. So she didn't account for that. We got the kill. I got the Scuttle Crab, which is great. Try and scare off Echo a bit, but I don't really care about this. I just want to clear my topside jungle. So I base here. Looks to get some control wards. Get my Warhammer. 2 control wards for some control. So Rift Herald is my next objective. I want to be taking that off the map. Again, objective focused. Identity of Olaf is you're an assassin that gets consistently early gold experience advantages to close out games. Take every objective. So I'm taking, just doing my wolves, my blue. It's power farm. I didn't actually want to do Rift Herald there, because if I was to do Rift Herald right now, I'm actually opening up to Shyvana taking all my bots I can. So I want to defend that from her. But again, I'm farming very nicely. I have 70 CS at 8 minutes right now. I'm just so strong. And taking an early dragon. So come down here mid. Twisted Face trying to bait Echo, but they obviously know that I'm here because I walked on a ward. So walking down bot. Twisted Fate doesn't have ult, so just coming down here, and I just realized they're backing off. They know that we're coming, so just go do my camps. Again, when there's nothing to do, just clear your camps. This is priority. I'm going to be level 8 off this. I'm doing very well for experience and gold right here. And this is also showing as well, like, you can farm better than a Shyvana. Than like a farming jungler. There's no one that can clear as quickly as Olaf can. So she's actually hasn't shown on the map for a while now, I don't think. So she's just farming. She probably has around 60 CS, 65, but nowhere near as close as me. And I'm probably a level ahead of her. That death for her was really big. And remember the thing right here, look at everything that's happened here. I've checked all the boxes for Olaf's identity. And not indications where you're not playing him right. I've gotten Dragon. I haven't died once. And I haven't died with all my camps up, but I also haven't... I haven't died in the first 5 minutes, right? So unfortunately, Shyvana does take Rift Herald there. She capitalized on it. That's pretty smart by her. So I just trade Scuttle Crab here. I see Shyvana top there. Twisted Fate comes there. And I just want to get this next dragon. I'm trying to make Soul a win condition. As you can see, I'm a level ahead of Shyvana. She's level 7. And Twisted Fate's there. Okay, I'm going to go push out mid. Get some pressure going in another lane. If they want to be all top, let's go do this. So make sure you're always hitting the CS. Don't get greedy there. As you can see, I'm literally 93 to 78 CS right now. So just power farming me. I'm going to be very strong. So the idea is that you're not farming to like outscale. The idea is you're farming to be super strong in these mid-game fights around these dragons, the Baron, around 20 minutes to be uncontestable. That's sort of like your mindset for Olaf. So again, farm. I'm level 9 at 10 minutes. 2 levels ahead of Shyvana now. So I'm just doing a full clear, create an efficient jungle path around the next objective, which is Dragon. I actually tell them that they're going to probably rush Dragon right now. So I run straight to Dragon because my timing is a little bit off. I got a little bit greedy for those camps, but I thought it was worth it. Echo goes and tries to dive bot here. Shyvana I see there, so I'm just running straight bot to help my team here. Unfortunately, Twisted Fate doesn't have ult. My team gets forced out, but my Lucian survives, which is really good. Kill Jinx. Shyvana hasn't done Dragon yet. So I'm just trying to run these guys down now. Going straight for Shyvana. Okay, can I use flush aggressively? Absolutely. Flush on here. And again, this is why you need flush aggressively. 1 kill. 2 kills. Take Dragon. 100 farm at 11 minutes. 2 levels ahead of... No, 1 level ahead of Shyvana, but I will be 2 levels very, very soon. Off this Dragon. Actually, I don't think you get that much experience from Dragon. So Dragon, yeah, I'm almost level 10. And Twisted Fate's bot, so I actually yank another wave here. So I'm almost farming to the clock right now. Again, I don't care about the enemy team outscaling me at this point because we're not going to get to the point where it's like 30 minutes. Yeah, we're going to end this game quickly. So definitely want to be utilizing my Twisted Fate. My Fiora's literally going to lose top tower. Unfortunately, because that Rift Herald. So top's not doing good. Bots, yeah, average. We're going to play around my Twisted Fate. But I'm absolutely the carry here. I need to be around these objectives, closing out the game. So base, reset, back to top. Just come in, clearing my camps off spawn as quickly as possible. They actually 4-man bot there. I should be looking at bot right now, seeing what's going on in case of blowing summoners, but I like to just trade. I'm just going to trade her topside jungle for this, but the Shyvana's red's not up. I mean, her Raptor's not up, but her red is. So I'm thinking, okay, they do something bot, I'm going to go do something top here. And again, even if it's related to Riven, she's actually doing alright here. I'm still looking for the kill. I'm just going to obliterate her. I'm the strongest member of the map right now. This is where Olaf's power spike is. There's nothing he can do here. Auto attack, auto attack. You see, I'm holding Q. There's no reason for me to Q. I don't want to just miss a Q, because that missed Q could have maybe caused me to die. Like, usually sometimes Q's are good as an execute move, but if you auto attacks plus E is more than enough damage to kill someone. So we take top tower off that. So we trade something for the enemy team, going bot. And again, back to camps. Gromp, Wolves, 141 CS at 15 minutes. Look, I'm 60 CS up on Shyvana. And this is, again, the speed, the clear. This is your advantage as Olaf. Your speed of clearing and still being able to impact the map. You still, I mean, I'm not saying if you just AFK farm, you need to choose your opportunities wisely. We've gotten 2 dragons here. We're getting the objectives. We did lose that Rift Herald. But sometimes you can't get all objectives. Because, I mean, these junglers, you know, especially diamond junglers, they're sort of going to punish you for showing on one side of the map. So they actually, unfortunately, get bot tower here. So we're definitely sort of struggling in terms of the towers here. We've lost top, we've lost bot. I could lose Rift Herald for showing bot here. Going on this gallery here, Twisted Fate, ults top there, so we need to back out because they're TPing here. I actually thought that was a TF ult bot, so that's sort of why I went in there, but that's all good. We get Echo's TP. Probably going to lose Rift Herald for this though. And my Thresh is dead here. Alright, so Dragon's coming up. Definitely want this Dragon. Shyvana's chilling up top there. My Lucian kills the Galio, which is really good. Just note the game state right now. We end this game in 9 minutes. So my Twisted Fate just died. She gave like a shutdown gold here. Shyvana's like cleaning up mid. And Echo. But I can hard carry this game still. Again, this is the power spike. The 15 minute to 20 minute mark. If you're this fed and farmed, you can take whatever objective you want on the map. So they're going to trade Rift Herald right here. Take Dragon. This is our 3rd drag using Soul as a win condition. We're going to have Soul by 22 minutes potentially. And this is why getting that first Dragon at like 5-6 minutes is so important. Reset. So notice here as well, I haven't taken any risky plays. There's no need to. I'm just waiting for the enemy team to make mistakes. As you can see, Shyvana's actually pretty fed right now. She has 6 kills if I can look at the scoreboard. Also ask the question, okay, who's the easy target to kill here? I'm going to be going Rabid Dog mode on this Jinx in these fights. Okay, scoreboard here. So yeah, look at this. So Shyvana's actually catching up from all these kills. She's pretty strong. Pretty strong. My Jinx is out farming my Lucian, but Lucian does have 7 kills. And top is sort of not doing too well. So, you know, the game's still not obviously 100% over right now. Still need to be playing good jungle fundamentals, being smart about my plays. And remember, not being a hero. That's very important as Olaf. Okay, so they're doing Rift here. We see Echo bot. Rabid Dog mode. Here we go on Jinx. Flash aggressively. Get the Q. See how important this Rabid Dog mode identifying the target? My kill target is Jinx this entire game. 2 kills. Rift Herald. Looking to pressure now. Steal some of the enemy jungle while they're all dead. So that's the other thing as well. They're all dead. There's no reason for me to do my blue Gromp. We need to be getting some objectives here. So pop Rift, and I'm just looking for farm. I'm just going to deny everything. Also looking for a potential dive here. But I don't have ult. So always be very careful. When you don't have your ult, you can't just walk in and just kill people. But Echo just doesn't have ult there, so we kill him. But just be careful. Without your ult, just be cautious. Be like, okay, I can get CC. Because that's the thing. Remember, you're not getting tenacity through because you're not building mercs. You're not going legend tenacity. You can get CC'd and locked down very easily without your ult. Alright, so now going here. Looking to take blue. Farm, farm, farm. Just continue to extend my lead here. I definitely want to build Hexdrink and Maul this game because I am against a AP in terms of Echo and Shyvana, 2 AP. But then I want to build GA next. So, take my Krugs, take my Raptors, full clear, full clear, full clear. And now I'd like look to do my move. This is my move now. Full cleared, now it's my move. Decide to come kill this Riven. Echo tries to help, but she can't do anything. Alright, I have a lot of gold right now. There's no reason for me to be here. I could potentially kill this Echo. I'm a level ahead of him. But I really shouldn't have, actually. I don't know why I didn't do this. I shouldn't have done this. This is a waste of time. I'm sitting on 2,500 gold. Okay, definitely backyard here. The enemy team's collapsing on us. Alright, so fight's breaking out here. My team's getting caught. I'm just looking to base. I don't care if they die, but I think we have an opportunity to go Rabid Dog mode here. They don't know I'm here. Rabid Dog mode. Here we go. Jinx, see you later. Who's next? Shyvana, see you later. See, look how strong we are. So strong. 200 CS at 21 minutes. And when the enemy team's not expecting, you see how they walked up, they didn't know I was there? The whole fight would have been different if I was there, showing. Because then they'd be like, okay, let's not walk into Olaf. They misstep, Rabid Dog mode. So we take Baron here, they're all dead. Look to take our soul, but we actually lose Dragon Soul for that Baron, so I think it is worth it. I definitely think it is worth it, but it sort of just delays our Dragon Soul win condition. Alright, farm. Wolves, 213 farm by 23 minutes. I'm further ahead than all my laners. I'm further ahead than everyone in the game right now. Looking to build GA next. I do need some armor for the Riven and the Lucian. So let's just take a little quick snapshot at this game. This is how far ahead you can be in front of a farming jungle. I mean, look at the farm here. I mean, I've taken a lot of mid waves here, but this is just showing efficiency, and playing around objectives can win you games. You don't need to be fighting unnecessary fights. Farm up, do something on the map. Farm up, do something on the map. And again, that's the advantage of Olaf. You can farm up on the map and still impact the map compared to any other jungler. Shyvana can literally only really like farm and like maybe impact the map here and there, but need to be very smart about where you do that. And around objectives is the easiest because the enemy team's going to fight over objectives, right? So force them to come to you as Olaf. As soon as you're chasing them, this is why I don't like approach velocity. If you're chasing them, you're playing to their game. Force them to come to you so then you can go Rabid Dog mode and utilize sniper mode. Alright, looking to push mid now. Burn her flash. She's so scared of me because every time I just flash on her head. So we trade flashes there. Fiora is split pushing bot. Bit of sniper mode here. As you can see, I'm 2 levels ahead of this Shyvana, 5 levels ahead of Galio, 5 levels ahead of Jinx. So just chilling out, sniper mode, waiting for my opportunity to go Rabid Dog mode. So just scaring them off a little bit, waiting for the wave for the next Baron up. Fiora's pressuring bot. Qs, and all my Qs I'm trying to think on Jinx. Q Jinx, because I'm thinking about going Rabid Dog mode on her. So if I get the right opportunity, I will just go and kill her. Alright, found my opportunity, Rabid Dog mode. Kill the max target because that's the closest thing to me. Really good hook by Thresh there. Miss a Q on the Jinx there. But finish her off there, get the legendary, finish off the game 8-0-6, and I think they surrender here, but we should be able to end anyway. So again, I think this is a really good example of showing you how you want to be thinking about farming as well as impacting the map, playing around objectives, and just like not taking bad fights. Play to your advantages. All these fights here was playing to my advantages as Olaf. I wasn't a hero, but still finished the game 8-0-6, finished this game at 25 minutes. Dragon Soul was our next win condition anyway. Potentially could have ended the game after that anyway. So I think this game, again, encapsulates everything we've talked about in the guide. Hope this was helpful. Let's now finish off the guide with a Q&A section to wrap it up. Questions and answers. So these are all questions from my YouTube subscribers. Let's just go through these one by one. So Argona says, I think I'm not so good with his Q. Do you have any tips or do I just need practice? So practice always helps. The way that I view Olaf's Q is it's much easier to hit someone where they're running in a straight line. Obviously people can juke, left to right, but this is sort of where it sort of comes into mind games. And in general, like the hitbox with his Q is actually pretty decent. The way that I really thought about Q is whenever people are in a position where they can move left to right versus running straight, like just straight up left to right, those are always harder to hit, right? Also in fights, throwing short range Qs It is okay, but I sometimes rather just auto attack and E someone to death. If I'm on someone, it's actually a little bit of a risk, I think, to throw a Q, because they can easily, like, especially if you're in echoes and stuff, they can jump like behind you, and all these champs have like all these abilities to run away and stuff like that. So the way that I view Qs, if I'm on someone, I'm really just auto attacking E in them. I might throw some Qs, but I really view Qs as like if they start running away or they flash, then that's when I throw the Q and I just keep running on them. How can I optimize Olaf's early game skirmishes? Example, what are champs he beats pre or post 6 and how can you max DPS? Alright, so champs that he beats is essentially, again, going back to the champ select slide, anyone that doesn't kite him, really. Great against melee champs. Ranged champs, you can definitely get on with your Q, especially with smart. But I mean, ranged champs are a little bit more difficult, and I guess this is sort of where Approach Velocity and Nimbus Cloak comes into play, where ranged champs are a little bit harder to get on pre-6, but unless you had those. But if when you're 6, between Flash, Ult, and Blue Smite, you have no problem getting on champions. And how you can max DPS. So max DPS, you want to be weaving Qs, Es in between autos. You really just, I mean, your priority is just to get on a target, and DPS is a problem solved for Olaf. So hope that answers your question there. TCZ says, my main struggle with Olaf is being bursted down too quickly, especially in the mid to late game. How do you manage, survive that, and stay in the fight long enough to heal back up? So my first question would be, are you further enough in the game? You shouldn't be, like, you're going to get bursted down, but you should at least, if you're further enough ahead and you've played the early game correctly, that you're at least going to kill one target, minimum. And again, that's why you have items like Sterax, Maw, Stopwatch, Guardian Angel, to, once they start burst you down, then you just revive, or the amount of time you're going to take to get killed, and you're going to heal off Triumph, then you like win the team fight by then, so it's all good. Like, you're obviously going to potentially suicide in fights, especially with the Rabid Dog mindset, but I fear TCZ, if you're gonna get into the late game stage and you're getting bursted down, like, you're potentially outscaled by that point, or you didn't get it further enough lead in the early game. Like, you should be just doing so much damage, it's ridiculous. You can obviously heal back up if in fights. As you say here, how do you manage to survive that and stay in a fight long enough to heal back up? The answer is you're doing insane amounts of damage. You're an assassin. That's the answer. Is that you have that Rabid Dog mindset, you're an assassin, you kill someone, heal back up, Triumph, Conqueror stacks, W, you might still die, but the amount of time the enemy is going to invest in trying to kill you, because you're such a huge threat, they have to kill you. Alright, more questions. I always play Olaf perfectly in the early game, but constantly die in the mid and late game. Do you think that Olaf is quite useless in the late game? So, again, going back to the other question, yes, but we need to have, if you're having a really perfect early game, my fear here is going back to that slide about fighting with Olaf. Are you being a hero? Are you trying to take the 1v2, 1v3 fights? Still pick your fights very carefully. As you saw in my own gameplay video, the first game that I closed out, that we just looked at. If you think about how many fights I took that game, I think you could count it on one hand. I think I took like 6 fights. And other than that, I was just power farming. I was just unkillable. But those 6 fights were super high impact. Absolutely, we got objectives, we got barons, dragons, all that stuff off. So it's always hard for me to say unless I see your gameplay here. But I also, everyone says I have the perfect early game. Let's take a look at your early game. No one, I mean, I barely had, well, not barely, I had a lot of really good early games, but perfect early games, like I would say that the perfect early game was example 1, going way back in the early game slides. I probably had that maybe 2 or 3 times max of probably like 50, 60 games. So that's pretty rare. But other than that, you have just solid early games and you transition off that. Similar to section last guide, which champs does Olaf play best with and which champs he does Olaf play the best against? So plays best with champs that, mid lane champs, AP champs that have CC abilities that you can close the distance between you walking up to someone and can follow up ganks really easily. And struggles against champs that can easily kite him and delay his ultimate, like champs with stealth abilities, Akali, Kha'Zix, champs that can jump over walls, kite, Azir, Corki, more champs that can delay his ultimate in terms of if you just Ragnarok to a Tryndamere that's altered, that's not going to do much. Master Yi as well. Master Yi is super annoying to verse. Master Yi, Taric Yi comps, like, just dodge. You can't play Olaf into them. Master Yi is like a really hard counter to Olaf because there's no lockdown for you and he just out damages you and can dodge your Qs and all that sort of stuff with his Q. And yeah, he's also very good with supportive champs that can give him a little bit of movement speed boost to get on targets, and shield champs to shield him, keep him low health, but you got the shield, so you're still utilizing your passive, but the shields help keeping you alive. The best combo in 1v1s and how to behave in team fights. So Rabid Dog mindset, sniper mode. Looking again, the biggest thing here is having a champion you're identifying as the easiest champion for you to one shot and be an assassin, to go that Rabid Dog mode, and then you're moving to the next target once that person's dead. Is Olaf the best blind pick jungler at the moment? I think he's pretty decent, pretty solid, especially in lower elo. I just don't think that so the champions I found that he really struggled against, they're all really high elo champs if you're thinking about. In terms of mid lane, top lane I guess not so much. Trin's pretty popular in lower elo. Jack's pretty popular, I guess, but again, I think it's fine. You can sort of deal with those champs if they're just on their own. But like the mid counter plus the top counter makes your life really hard, because there's two lanes you essentially can't really gank. Alright, so more questions here. I want to know what mentality to go in as playing with Olaf, and how to keep your lead when you get one with him. Sometimes I get big leads, but when early game is over, I fail to hard understand how to keep abusing him to help my team. So objectives. The way I see people throw leads, their early leads, and what I was doing with Olaf. This is me trying to go back to the thing saying, don't be a hero. Is I'm trying to take an unnecessary fight that's not around an objective, that is just waiting for the enemy team to collapse on me and kill me. So force the enemy team to come to you, get the control wards, place them around your dragon, force them to come to you, because as soon as they're coming to you, you don't need to worry about just like chasing people down with Q. Then they're mispositioned over a wall. You can flush over a wall and one shot like a Janna or Jinx or Misfortune, like you saw me in my gameplay clips. So biggest one here is don't be a hero. That's like the mindset here. Pick your fights wisely around objectives that are going to win you the game. When you go into lots of sloppy fights, you can get outplayed really easily as Olaf. Again, if you see an Olaf walk into you, he's very predictable. You want to be unpredictable. If you see the biggest like wins I got in, especially in that last game that I showed you, the full game, when Jinx she thought I was gone, and she based and she mispositioned, come out, just one shot everyone. That's the ideal. As soon as you're seeing you're running at them, the enemy team can outplay you really easily. Sometimes they can't do anything about it if you're that far ahead, but that's like, again, when his strong point is. This is more of a general thing regarding lots of champs, but mana conversation in the early game, as I seem to waste my mana on camps, and when I come to gank and can't pull off a combo. Yeah, okay, so mana conversation is... Mana conservation is important on Olaf. You really just need to think about, okay, am I going to base soon, or is a fight going to break out? If a fight's going to break out, don't really queue your camps, and don't use W as much. Well, W's not that much mana. It's more your Q. Your Q really eats up on your mana. E obviously doesn't cost any mana, so that's great to clear camps with. But sometimes it's worth to just auto attack camps. It's going to feel a lot worse. You could clear it way quicker with your Q, but then you're not going to have mana for the fight, so it's not worth it. So sometimes if a fight's going to break out or something, but you want to be taking. I think I took all blues. I took a lot of blues as Olaf. Sometimes I gave it to a mid laner if I felt like they needed it, but I'm just power farming with blue buff. And that's why dying is really bad as well early, because if you lose that early blue buff, it's just terrible for you in terms of your clear. How do you play around junglers that can invade on your second buff if you full clear? Do you heal up and contest them, heal up, give the buff, path differently if you suspect they will invade? Okay, so this comes back to that ward trick that I talked about in terms of warding. Channeling your base at 52 seconds, 53 seconds, warding it at the last second before your base, switch out to sweeper, move to blue. You're able to see if they're going to come down to your red buff. The thing is, if they do that red buff invade, no jungler can get there at like level 3. All they do, they're just going to be finished. You're probably just going to be finished red, and you can turn and kill them. So pretty much only level 2 junglers really try and do that. So Xin Zhao, Jarvan, they're the main ones I can think. I think it happened to a Rengar did it to me one time, but I could have counted it. So ideally you're gonna see them on that ward. If that's the case, then sometimes you need to just give it up, or if you feel like you can get it and quickly smite it up and pop some health pots, you can just turn and kill them, because you're gonna be level 3 to their level 2, right? Sometimes again you might need to concede it, just take Krugs and maybe reset to go bot for top scuttle. Again, depends what side you're playing on, but that's really the gist of it. So again, especially in lower elo, I don't think junglers are going to punish you at all. In high elo, they will try to, but I think there is ways around it. It's just going to take experimentation and practice. Alright, last bit of questions here. His power spikes and how to play in the mid game. I mean, Olaf, I never viewed Olaf as like... Alright, so warriors are probably really the big power spike. Obviously getting a black cleaver and stuff, but like, I feel like Olaf is always power spiked. Like, if you're playing the early game correctly, he's always super strong. There's not like a fight like, oh, I'm not power spiked. Like, I can't take this fight. Like, I'm just taking any fights I see. Any good fight, like, you don't need to worry about it as Olaf. Is it worth doing any jungle clear other than full clear at the start? Logic being I consistently full clear by 307. Great, you're doing that perfectly. Feels like a waste of time to do anything else when I could hit level 4 that early. And that's exactly what this guide's about. Irish friend, 111. There's no... That's why Talisman just doesn't make sense and red. Like, you can do it, this clear, super early, be full health on Scuttle. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense to not do it, right? Is it ever worth invading early before level 4? No. I actually tried initially thinking of like, okay, I'm actually just going to invade early every game because you're so strong early. But I found that the level 4 path is just so much better for your tempo momentum. But remember, it's not so much about the level 4. It's about that next clear. You know that next clear I talked about? Like when you're like level 6 and you're coming down to Dragon at 6 minutes. That's because you can get your level 6 before anyone else in the game. That's his strong point. And you can't do that with, again, the Talisman, the red path. That's why the blue path, this early path, is so important for Olaf. What's your decision making on when to be farming, ganking, or counter jungling? I really am thinking, again, priority, clear my camps, then be doing something on the map. Clear your camps, then do something on the map. But there is times where you do need to skip your camps if you feel like you really need to gank something. So it's all dependent on situations. It's very hard for me to just talk about it in theory unless I see actual gameplay. Alright, last question here. How to hit Q better. I sort of talked about it briefly in the beginning of this Q&A, but throwing Qs when they're running away in sort of like a straight line-ish, they might still try and juke, but that's the easiest to hit because you can sort of see their juke patterns. When they're close to you, it's actually a little bit harder to hit, but you can also be throwing Qs in short range to pick them up. But if they're close range, again, just auto-attack them to death and just E them. Qs are like, it's like Qs I think of like as mid to late mid to further range. I like to be throwing them to just get on targets. Once you're on targets, again, you have no problem with E and auto attacks. Alright, so that's going to, and yeah, sorry, practice. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. Just have some feel about people's juking patterns. But if you do miss Qs, it's actually you can't miss Qs. It's actually really important to hit them. A Q can make the difference between winning a skirmish or not. Alright, so that's going to be it for the Q&A section and the end of this guide. Let me know in the comments below if you have any further questions. This has been a pleasure to make. Really excited about seeing you guys' feedback from this guide. Olaf, I think, is a very strong champion, especially with this strategy I talk about all through this guide. This power farming, early to mid game strength. You take all the objectives on the map. You try and close out the game after that by taking high impact fights. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys in my next video.